Today we are going to be looking at polynomials and linear factors. First, let's take a look at this and how we can write this in standard form. When we start this, let's take a look at just the first two groupings and just ignore the third one. Let's FOIL, which we learned this last year. So x times x is x squared. X times 1 is x. 1 times x is x. And 1 times 1 is 1. So let's simplify what we have. X squared, two x's combined together to be 2x plus 1. Put that in parentheses once it's reduced, or simplified, sorry. And now we can bring down that third one that we ignored at the beginning, x plus 2. Now we need to multiply again. So let's start with our x squared and multiply that by x. So x squared times x is x to the third. X squared times 2 is 2x squared. So our first term is done. Second term, 2x times x is 2x squared. 2x times 2 is 4x. That term is done because we multiplied it by both things on the inside. So it leaves us with our last term, 1, and 1 times x is x, and 1 times 2 is 2. Now we can simplify. X to the third has nothing to combine with. 2x squared and 2x squared is 4x squared. 4x and x is 5x, and the 2 has nothing to add to. So this is in standard form once we multiply all that out. So okay, one more example of this type. We ignore the third term. So that's FOIL. X times x is x squared. X times 3 is 3x. Negative 1 times x is negative x. Negative 1 times 3 is a negative 3. So if we combine like terms, we end up with x squared plus 2x minus 3. It's simplified, so we can put it in our parentheses. Bring down our third group, x plus 4. Now we can multiply again. Take the first term, multiply it by x, so x cubed. X squared times 4 is 4x squared. Second term, 2x times x is 2x squared. 2x times 4 is 8x. Last term, negative 3 times x is a negative 3x, and a negative 3 times 4 is a negative 12. Last step is to combine like terms. X to the third has nothing to combine with. 4x squared and 2x squared is 6x squared. 8x minus 3x is 5x minus 12. Alright, we are going to be taking these polynomials and writing them in factored form. So first up, let's look at greatest common factor. 2, 10, and 12, the greatest common factor we have is a 2. And if we have x to the third, x squared, and x, the greatest variable we can pull out is a 2. Or x, sorry. So if we had a 2, we pulled out 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. We had 3 x's, we took out 1, so we're left with x squared. 10 divided by 2 is 5. We had 2, we pulled out 1, so now we're left with 1x. 12 divided by 2 is 6. We had one variable and we took it out, so that's what we're left with. Now we can factor this section. Factors of 6, we have 1 and 6, and 2 and 3. So if we factor this one more time, we end up with 2 and a 3. And because 2 times 3 is a positive 6, and 2 plus 3 is a 5, we're done. The second one, cross this off, and let's look at this problem. X to the third plus 10x squared plus 25x. Looking at greatest common factors, we have a 1, 10, and 25, so that means the greatest common factor is a 1. Variables, the greatest is an x, so we can just pull out 1x. So if we had 3, we're now left with 2. Nothing changed to our 10. We had 2 variables, pull one out. Nothing changed with our 25. We had one variable and we pulled one out. Now we can look at the factors of 25. 1 and 25, 5 and 5. So if we factored this even further, you know 5 and 5 add to be 10, and 5 times 5 multiplied together to be a positive 25. So this is our factored form. Okay, last example of this type. Greatest common factor with 3, negative 18, and 24 is 3. Variable, the biggest one we can pull out is an x. So 3 divided by 3 is 1. We pull out one variable, we're left with x squared. Negative 18 divided by 3 is a negative 6. We had two variables, pulled one out, so we're left with a 6. 24 divided by 3 is 8. One variable, pulled it out, so there's nothing left. So now our last step is to factor once again. Factors of 8 are 1 and 8, 2 and 4. So 3x. So when we go to factor, we want to use the 2 and the 4. This time we want them to multiply together to be a positive 8, but add together to be a negative 6. So if we put in two negatives, negative 2 times a negative 4 is a positive 8, and a negative 2 plus a negative 4 is a negative 6. Alright, almost done. First, before we get into these definitions, I would like for you to draw an example picture and draw a cubic, which would look like this. Relative maximum is when we are looking at the greatest value of the points, and that's looking at the y coordinate. Relative minimum is the least value of the points of the y coordinate, and zeros are where it crosses the x-axis, which is this what we talked about last trimester. So relative maximum would be at this point. Relative minimum, and these 3 points where it crosses the x-axis are our zeros.